Hi, I'm Sudha Murthy, and welcome to this class, Unacademy class, Conversation from the Heart is my subject. I'm as excited as you are because basically I'm a teacher and I taught computer science to many students in university, but of late, like the last 15 years, I'm not teaching. I was wondering what I should teach now, particularly in a COVID time. Everybody looks so pessimistic. Oh, there is no end. We are getting bored. But I told no, that's really not true. In a way, if you look in a positive angle, this is a time where you can spend lot of thing on lot of subjects, whatever you want to do. This is the time you can do. So I divided my lecture today into few chapters, and my whole topic is conversation from the heart because I don't write the essays or write the lecture and I talk. I always do it from my heart, and that is my strength. And at times, people say, "How do you do?" I say, "No, it's by experience. I will do." The first one is how to beat boys. It may look very odd because it's not physically beating. It's my experience. How I did my engineering almost 52 years back. It was not easy. It was in the year 1968, so almost 52 years back. I came from a small town known as Hubli and a small community known as a Brahmin. It was unheard in those days. A girl from a Brahmin community will ever do engineering, which unthinkable. They said there is something wrong with the girl's brain. How can she ever do? It's a man's domain. And no day a girl will be successful in that. So there were so many doubts a girl doing that, and people did comment on me and more on my father, particularly. They said, "This is a young girl, doesn't have any brain, and she wants to do engineering. Look at her old father. Can he not understand a girl should never do engineering? It is never ever meant for them." And that is one of the reasons which made me, I must do it. First of all, I had a passion for that, to do engineering. It's applied science, and I always enjoyed applied science. And the best way of applied science is engineering. And I have to hear a lot from different people. Like, some people commented that nobody will marry in the community. Someone said she will definitely fail because it's never heard a girl doing a survey, mechanical work, filing, electrical work, foundry. How any girl can do? So she will fail and she will bring a bad name to all girls in Hubli city. And it was a small town. But I decided, no, I will do this. And I also decided I will do it, I will work hard, my level best to achieve this. I joined engineering college much against the wish of everyone. Even the teachers were not happy to have a girl. There was no toilet at all in my college because there were no girls. And they all felt there is no point in building a toilet because this girl will leave within 6 months or maybe 3 months or 2 weeks or something. And why waste money on building a toilet? So let us not build any toilet for her. And they made compulsory. The management told me I must wear a sari every day, and I should not talk to boys, and I should not go to canteen with the boys, etc. I agreed for all the conditions, but I did talk to boys later. Boys also did not welcome me because they felt there's an unusual animal has come to the campus. They were never ever used to seeing a girl like that. So they made a special desk for me, and nobody will talk to me. I will come and sit there and go back home. They will never give their notes, never share anything with me. And sometimes they'll throw paper arrows at me, then send a small chit making funny comments on me. So I decided, look, all these boys feel that I cannot do. The best way for me to do is tell them that anybody can do anything provided if you work hard and you have a passion. So I decided next 4 years when I'm in engineering college, I will not take a single day leave. I will not take. I will not ask notes to anybody. I will do all the notes myself. Then I will work so hard so that no time is left for any other thing other than my studies. and I should concentrate on my all my energy only on studies, nothing else. To make up my mind very strong, though it was not needed. I said, until I finish my engineering college, I will not wear colored saris. I will not take warm water bath. I will not sleep on a bed. I will sleep on a mat. It was not needed, but I said, these are the way to control your mind. And I will attend all the class sincerely, make my own notes. And the first semester came. I stood first to the university. And I did not know I stood first in the university. In those days, there was no internet. There was nothing like this today, how you know. So my marks card was brought from the university by some boy and put it on the notice board. Suppose I would have failed. Suppose I would have got less marks. Imagine. In that case, how bad it would have been for a girl. Her marks card is kept in the public view. Fortunately, I got a first rank. And when I got a first rank, I really realized one thing: the power of a woman, the enormous patience and hardworking habit of a woman, which is part of her DNA. And many women do not use it. They are carried away by people telling them, look, you can't do. Then they say, maybe I can't do. They really do not get that motivation, I must do, and I should not fall prey to this. They don't get that. They get scared, they are carried away. I said, I will never ever do such things. Once I got first rank, I got a confidence. Then I said, look, who says it's a man's domain? Education is known as Vidya. And the person who considers Vidya as money or as a great asset is Vidyarthi. I am a Vidyarthi. And I did all the survey along with, of course, it's a partnership in a project will work. But I wouldn't tell them to do part of the work, drawing, everything. I will do all my drawing myself. Similarly, filing, electrical fitting, everything I used to do. I did my BE electrical in those days. There were only 3 branches. And my quality of work was so good, and at times, I would help. I'll finish earlier, then I'll tell boys, do you want any help? So, these 8 semesters or 4 years of my college work, hard work, gave me a kind of strength, a kind of confidence, probably even today I carry. That is, never get scared what people talk. There is nothing like a man can do, a woman can do, but except in certain areas, like a woman can give birth to a child, a man cannot. Okay, there are some area, some physical differences are there, but the in terms of the education, in terms of the research, in terms of the learning, there is no difference. It is your mind, and only your mind should decide and work for it. I became like autonomous, and that is even today I have that quality. I don't depend emotionally or anything on others. I always do everything, assuming that I'm all alone and I will do. And staying in a college for 8 semesters or 4 years without a toilet, I'll walk from my house, come to college, then afternoon lunchtime I'll go home and use toilet, come back at 2 o'clock for the lab and go back at 5 o'clock. This made me to realize the importance of ladies' toilet than anything else. And later part of my life, when I started Infosys Foundation, I said, I know the importance of a toilet than anyone else, and built 14,000 toilets almost 15 years back because I know what it is to be. It's a great lesson I learned with my own experience. I said, fine, this should not happen to any girl. Similarly, I realized apna hath jagannath. That means if you do well, if you don't do well, you are responsible. Who is your best friend? You yourself is the best friend. Who is your worst enemy? You yourself. Because if you think you are not good, you are not good. If you think you are good, you are good. That means first you learn to respect yourself. That means first you should have confidence within you. Confidence does not mean I'm always successful. Confidence means I know my positive things, I know my negative things. Positive things I don't have to worry, but negative things I will reduce it or I will improve in negative matters. Like I will have more patience. I will have a sympathetic ear. All these things you have to learn. And this whole my episode of staying in a college without any friends, learning on my own to be alone, and to enjoy it and to show there's nothing like it's a boys or it is girls. That I called as how to beat boys. And this I wanted to tell all the girls here, particularly, there is no ceiling, but you should be careful in certain things. For example, a place like Delhi, if I have to travel all alone in the night around 10 o'clock, take a taxi. How to beat boys you should not use, because you should see this for social circumstances, and because of that you should say no, I need, I don't want to travel alone. You should remember that, because the social circumstances you should assume, you should see and decide. That does not mean you are incapable. Please remember, you can do a lot, provided if you are confident. And I want to tell everyone that a girl like me, coming from small community and small town where they never heard girl becoming engineer, can did it and did it fairly well. So there is no difference between a boy and a girl. All are equal as long as they are good human beings. Be good human beings, and that is the best way. And always compete and do your work very well. I have never played my game of card where I say, look, I'm a female, so I want concession. I never ever did that. Including when I was pregnant, I still continued the way I used to work. My boss, in those days, I used to work for Tata's, and Mulgaonkar was my boss, and he once told me, when J.R.D. Tata was my super boss, they told me, why didn't tell you are pregnant? When I was in 8 month, I said, I'm sorry. I said, I didn't feel like telling. The meeting was on third floor and there was no lift. He said, let us have a meeting on the ground floor. They decided, but I never ever asked, I can't climb, nothing. Because what you can do, still you can do it. Don't play that card for your advantage. And whatever you want to do ethically, morally, sincerely. Success comes along with that. This is what is how to beat boys. Now I'll go to the next chapter, joy of reading. There is an advantage for me compared to others, I feel, because we grew up in a village with my grandparents who was a school teacher. In our village, there was no current. And the only joy, only entertainment for us was books. Today, that is really not true. You have lots of channels of entertainment, but nothing like reading. Books are your never failing friends. And all the experiences what you have, you cannot have in one's life. If somebody is climbing Mount Everest, I cannot have that in my life. So, to know different experiences in life, you should read different books. Actually, books change so much in my life. I read a lot, I learned a lot. At times, books, the characters in the books give me a lot of wisdom to do how we should be in life. And reading, the habit of reading made me probably more human and more understanding human nature and understanding of the fellow human beings. I'll give an incident. When I was a little girl in our library, in village library, I read all the books. It was a small library. Then my grandfather told me, tell me when you grow up and if you have more money, what you will do? More money is very different, when you are young. I said, what is the meaning of more money? He said, if you have money more than your need, I call more money. I said, okay, if I have that kind of money, then I will establish a library. And this I did when I grew up. And fortunately, I got more money than what I need. In Karnataka alone, we have established 60,000 libraries. It is not a joke to make 60,000 libraries. I particularly have done with the government school, village to village, go there, sit there, talk with children, give them books what they like. And so many children come back and tell me, look, we have enjoyed books, we have enjoyed reading. Many times they say, parents come and say, you know, the good books are billion times better than interactive games, because children get hooked to the electronic media. So I want to tell all parents, in case they are here, or children who are listening to this lecture, make it a habit. 1 hour per day you must read. You may not like it initially if you are not used to reading, but in the long range, There is always a joy of reading. And read whatever you feel like, and you learn from the book. Not that I will read some gossip and I'm happy. No, read something which makes some understanding in your mind, some meaningful thought, you get it. And it makes a difference to you. Normally people do ask me, tell me who is your role model, and I always say there's not a single person as a role model. you know Sometimes when I was young, I used to, my people who are with me, like my grandfather was a school teacher, was my role model. You have to read well, you should lead a disciplined life, you should not spend money unnecessarily, all those. And many times I got my inspiration are from my many books. For example, I was reading a book, the 10,000 Miles Without a Cloud. It's a journey of a Chinese girl from Shanghai to Kannauj in India, the same path which Huina Sangh has traveled, and how it changes her, how she writes. Like, and I felt it. I would not have known so many things if I would not have read that book. And there are many books, which the men who the book on science I read when I was very young, the men who changed the world, inventor's life, how hard it was for them to start, and their startup companies, and how they achieved, like Firestone, what you say today, or the sewing machine, what you can see, how they did, nursing, how they started. All those are very, in those days, nobody imagined how to do that one. It gave me a lot of strength when we started Infosys, because it was like how to change the world kind of situation in a different way. You will have minimum money, but your goals are high, you have to work very hard, and you should not go on assuming that you will be successful, but you should work for it. And the kind of detachment and yet to you have to work on that I got the knowledge from how to read, how to change the nation, or how to change the world. Then I also read a book by the name Significant Sisters, women who changed so many things, and for their sisters, in the sense, other women, and that is known as Significant Sisters. And it was in that, it was a nursing, it was a divorce petition, it was in charge of the children during the unhappy marriage, or it was something women really wanted a freedom, a joy for voting, or the equal demand in a election. All this, what we see today, is so natural, and it was so difficult for women. It was extremely difficult for women in 17th, 18th century to get any of these things. And to cast a vote, they have to work so hard. So they have to oppose, and they have to protest and get it. Today, none of us have that. So when I go to engineering college, when I see today, there is, in some colleges there are 45% girls, some colleges there are 51% girls, and there are some branches like instrumentation, there are 60% girls. And I always remember that, and I tell the girls, boys are in minority, please take care of them. What I want to tell you is that things do not remain same. With time, it changes, and you should accept the change, and you should work betterment for the society and for yourself. That is very important, and that is what I want to tell you. Nothing like joy of reading, and at least I felt it. If you have books, you are the rich person, because you can enjoy so much. There's one small shloka is there in Mahabharata which I always quote. Somebody asked him, Arjuna was a great warrior, a very intelligent person. And they said, "Oh, Arjuna, you are so handsome, you are so rich, you are a prince. And why do you respect so much of your teacher? You sit below his feet. What is that great about him?" Arjuna said, "In this life, if you are young, beautiful, you will become old one day. If you have so much money, one day a thief may come and take, or if there may be a war, and somebody may take. In olden days, those things used to happen. If you have so much land, one day there may be a war and you may lose and somebody will take. In this life, everything is perishable, except except knowledge. Knowledge is not perishable. And knowledge is something which, the more you learn, the more you expand, the more you teach, then the more you remember. A good teacher is the one who has taught many years, because first year when I second year I realized, no, I can do better than last year. Third year still better. So a teacher is the one who goes on teaching and becoming better and better person. Please remember, this is possible only when you read a lot. You read a lot. Now I want to tell you the next chapter, joy of giving. There are many stories I can tell you, joy of giving, but because I have a 1 hour session, I can just limit it. I was a teacher for a long time and I had many good students, bright students. Many of my students have done very well in life, a lot of money. So one of my students came back and told me, ma'am, I'm not happy. I said, why? He said, I have everything. I have my own company. I have 300 employees. I earn a lot of money. I run my company in Singapore and, I do very well. I said, and I'm married. I have a very beautiful wife. I have a daughter. I said, it's like a picture, perfect image. He said, somehow I never feel happy inside. I said, happiness is always inside you. It is not like, you learn by a book. Somebody will teach you. Okay. Or there is a session on how to be happy. Uh, you should find out your happiness within you. He said, how did you find out? I said everybody's happiness is different. For example, my way of happiness is different than your way of happiness probably, or somebody else's. He said, no, ma'am, I want your way of happiness. I said, I learned my happiness by giving. When I give it to somebody, something, I feel very happy. And in my 25 years of public service, I really realized we really don't need so much money or so much wealth to lead a very happy life. Happy life, if you what you need to be happy is content within you and helping others. Helping others makes you very happy, and you feel there's a purpose in life because I have seen very poor people. You don't have to be very rich to give something. I will give two examples for that. One I have seen myself. There was a lady who was a coolie in a village in a godforsaken place in Kolar district of Karnataka. And she used to do coolie from morning to evening, get some money. And it accidentally it started that a beggar used to come and ask her a bucket of warm water for bath because he did not have a house. And she started this scheme. She's a coolie. She doesn't have money, but every day there will be a line in front of her house, and she gets some water from the well, and somebody also gives her water. After her work, she comes back home, warms the water. Whosoever comes and stands in the queue, because there is a scarcity of water in that area, she gives them a bucket of water to take bath. And she told me, yeah, I'm extremely happy, ma'am, because I feel my life is really useful. Because she told me, people wait for me. There will be about one day I went and met her, there was 25 people. And she said, this is the joy of giving I learned. I learned joy of giving again. This from poor person. I learned one more from my dog. My dog's name is Gopi. He's a year and a half. And he loves paneer. And one day, I gave him a roti and a paneer piece, big piece, because he loves it. And outside, I saw a street dog and I had one more roti and I gave it to him. He was eating. Gopi looked at me. There was no paneer and I never understood why Gopi is looking at me. He took his paneer and just went outside and gave it to that dog. Gopi may not talk, but he showed me, I'm a dog, I can't speak, but look at me. I want to share what I have with others. I realized what a power. Even an animal understands joy of giving, and we are human beings. So we should know more about it, and we really don't require that. But how much money you should give, how much you should help people is left to you. For someone giving 10 rupees is too much, for someone giving 100 rupees is too much, but that's a personal thing, how much you would like to give. I will not tell this is the correct thing, this is wrong. I can't tell you that because everybody has their own mindset, own set of circumstances, and own compulsions. But the joy of giving is very important. You can give either with money, kind, or even with words, a consoling word. If somebody has failed in the exam, what is this? You are not studied well, so that's look at the neighbor's house. His son has done so well. You should never do that. Never do that. If your child has worked hard and not scored well, Don't push them. Don't punish them. Tell them, look, study well. So what? In case you have got less marks, study next year better. You may lose the battle, but always you should win the war. Please understand, kind words, a pat on the back, or a small hug is also a joy of giving, making someone feeling that he is also important. I've seen many people when you go to a session, they go on talking about how great I am and how much respect I have, how much these degrees I have. No, you may be having, but make the person sitting in front of you, make them comfortable. That's also joy of giving. And don't look down upon people who may or may not have. It's not money alone. There are many things people may not have. Don't ever make a comment on that. Don't ever make something, low opinion about that. Please be a human. Then only you understand joy of giving. The next one is joy of writing. People say, "Do you write every day? When did you start writing? Is there any course? Did you take any course? And how you became successful in writing?" I really have not done any of these things. As a student, I used to write. As a student, I used to write. I wrote mostly more for the last 30, 40 years, I'm writing. I used to write in Kannada, which is my mother tongue. I'm a Kannada medium 10th class student. SSLC is Kannada medium. And I always enjoyed writing because for me writing is my expression of emotion, maybe happiness, sadness, anything is my expression of my emotion, and I'm always happy when my emotions come up to brink or up to this level. Then I start writing. I write English on a computer, Kannada in a shorthand on a paper. And when I write my experience, I always take the person's permission about whom I'm writing, because many times people come and tell me, look, I have some experience. Will you write it, because I can't write it. And though I change the name and I take that experience and write. And I'm very truthful when I write. I will not write lies. I don't like it because, people, honesty is the best policy. Honesty is the best policy, it always sets. Second thing, what you do not know, you do not know. As a teacher, I used to tell, if my students ask any question, if I do not know, I used to always say, look, I do not know this answer. However, I will read and come back and tell you tomorrow. A teacher is the one person who knows everything is not true. That was true 30 years back. Today, you have internet, you have many books, you have Google search, people will find out. So, but what I have as a teacher is I have a lot of experience. My hair has not gone gray without a reason. What I have learned, where I have failed, where I have gained, those things along with the subject I used to teach. Writing, I always do for my sake. It is not I want to do writing so that I should become popular. No. I write because I have a joy to write. And once I write, I will keep quiet for a month or two. Then I will reread it again. Then I will say, look, I don't think I should change anything. And then I send it to the press. I always feel writing, to some extent I write, but it is Devi Saraswati who comes in and sits in my mind. Who she writes. I only copy from her mind. That's I feel, and it's such a joy. It's nothing to do with money, nothing to do with my knowledge, nothing to do with whatever position I have. This is something, a joy which is born within me, and it gives me a great pleasure. To write better, you require to read a lot. You require a sensitive mind. For example, we all see an old man, a patient, a dead body on the road, and we say, "Oh, poor one," and we go away. But 2,500 years back, a young prince saw all these scenes and he said, why people suffer? And being a prince, he left his kingdom, his palace, his beautiful wife, and a young son, and meditated and wanted to find out a solution. He was extremely socially sensitive. And when he was born, he was known as Prince Siddhartha, but we call him Bhagavan Buddha today. So, a sensitive mind and absorbing the experiences all around you makes me to write, and that's joy which I have always enjoyed. Now I spent almost 30 minutes on giving my lecture. I would like to interact with you and I will try my level best as much as possible to answer your questions. Are you people ready? Shall we start? Shall we start? Okay. Now, many people ask me, please tell me what is the success? How you became successful? See, there is no secret like success. And again, success, how do you define? It depends on you. How do you define success? It depends on you. So, the first question I will take this one. In this is Sai Ram Jai Ram, I inspired by a lot of personalities who have achieved success. Should I follow their footprints or succeed find my own ways? He's asking me. I always feel you should find Sai Ram, you should find your own ways. Everybody must run their marathon on their own way, not on somebody's. They must run on their own ways. Second one is what is the definition of success? Okay. It's very hard. Success means money, according to many people in the eyes of the world. It means you get a lot of achievements. But according to me, success is, you know, what you feel happy inside. Legally, morally, it is right. Then you have achieved your success. That is my definition of success. Lalita Rao, this is my answer. Then Utkarsh Dvivedi, I want to know how you motivate yourself when the going gets difficult. Utkarsh, please remember, people think successful people have never seen difficulties and everything has become easy for them. No, it is really not true. There are many failures, there are many successes that happen to them. But from every failure, I have learned. For example, if I got less, I mean, tell you as a student, I did not do well in a paper, then normally I will sit back and say, why I did not do well? Did I leave that chapter? Then next time, next test, I rather read that chapter. Or, I go there and I did not do, I didn't get the contract. Then I say, maybe my writing was not good or where I went wrong. There are some things which you can change. When I went wrong, next time I'll improve. Some are beyond you, like illness is beyond you. That time you can't do anything. So when in going gets difficult, have positive set of values in your mind, positive attitude in your mind, and that's a voice within you which will seek inspiration. I always take inspiration by myself within me because I know myself fairly well than anyone else. So I prefer any day that I sit down for 10 seconds. Oh no, 5 minutes. I said, what has happened? Things have not worked well. Fine. What are the other solutions? A, B. Because every problem has different solutions. A or B or C or D. Like, you go to kitchen, there is no rice to eat. You go to kitchen, there is no chapati to eat. But you are hungry. What you will do? You'll open the fridge, you'll eat one apple. Or if nothing is in the fridge, then you take a glass of water, you drink. That much at least you have. No, that means you search alternatives. And I always search alternatives when I'm in difficulty. I always say, okay, this is not possible. What is possible? What is possible? Don't lose your courage. When you lose your courage, then you don't take correct decision. That's the reason our elders say, Dhairyam Sarvatra Sadhana. Dhairya is the ultimate, is the apparatus or equipment or the important factor that guides you in difficult times. Sanya, what motivated you to go against the norm? Was it scary not to do what everyone else was doing? Actually, I'm not worried about what others think. Thousand people can tell me, no, no, this is the great thing for you, you should do. People tell me, but I am not worried about what others do, what others think. I always think if my work is ethically good, morally correct, if I'm in a proper way, then I must do it. It is not that I want to show everyone, look, I will go against the norm and do. I believe in myself, I can do it, then I do. And I don't get scared, because if you are scared of failure, then you will never achieve anything in life. Failure, repeated success makes a person very arrogant. Repeated failure makes a person very timid. Good amount of success and good amount of failure makes a person mature. So I'm not scared. I always say, okay, accept it. So what? So what? If you fail, so what? Still, take anybody's life. Life is not bed of roses. It has plus minus. Like, you think of surfing, surfing in a sea. Life is like a sea. There are always difficulties. There is no human being in this world without any difficulty. Everybody has different difficulties. When you look at someone, their difficulties you solve, but you feel your difficulties are more. It is like a surf. You have the surfing equipment, and you should know the art of surfing. Then you go on surfing every difficulty. You know how to ride a wave. You should know how to handle difficulties. And that is what life is. Ambika, immense competition in almost every field sometimes forces people to forget the importance of kindness and humanity. How do we ensure that we practice humanity in our day-to-day lives? Well, there may be a competition. I will not deny there is a lot of competition. But the ultimate aim of life is to be happy. Ultimate, you may earn little bit less, doesn't matter, but you should be little more happy. And without kindness and humility, your whole personality is like a golden flower. Nobody will, it's a flower, but nobody wears in that flower. They may appreciate, but nobody keeps it on the god or put it in your hair. You should be a person with every quality. You should have as much as possible. I say it's like a thali. In thali, you have rice, you have dal, you have roti, you have sabji, you have dessert, you have soup. I like soup, so I cannot live only on soup. I like dessert, so I cannot eat all the time dessert. To have a balanced life, you eat everything. Similarly, in life, you should work hard, you should have success, you should have kindness, you should have compassion, you should have humility. Everything makes all this together makes your life a balanced, mature, and happy person. And you have to practice. You have to practice. Otherwise it is not possible, because there are good habits you have to practice, and it is very easy to live. Bad habits are, you don't have to practice, it will come. It's very difficult to live. Please remember, practice good things. Over a period of time, you can always win. You can always win. Which of your books is your favorite, and why so? Satakshi. It's like asking a mother, suppose she has 4 children, which child is very dear to you? Mother says, all children. Okay. Similarly, as an author, for me, all books are beautiful. But over a period of time, in the last 30 years, my style has changed a great extent with my maturity, with seeing so many difficulties. We have handled about 30, 40, sorry, 13, 14 national disaster, including pandemic, COVID-19, Corona. So I've seen life very close to death, tsunami, drought, floods, and making all these things also has affected my writing, and more philosophical in thinking. And that's the reason my books also go on varying in different type. And my latest book on adult, on 3,000 stitches. So then my work with the sex workers is probably, I consider, it's a much more mature book than a favorite book. But I enjoy writing for children a lot, because I feel children's mind is like a blank slate or a wet wall. You can write anything on that, and when it's dried, it remains with them. So teach them when they are young, catch them when they are young, teach them good things to them that will remain with them. Amai, Amai, the central idea of most of your fascinating books is women in various walks of life. Is there any special reason for choosing this theme? Because I understand women being a woman. I understand women. It is not that, women really want many things. Most women want a patient hearing, and and they are wired. Somebody should listen to them. Many people don't understand that. And as a woman, I know what difficulty I have faced. As a woman, I know what strength women have. Like I always said, women are like elephant, enormous capacity. They can do anything because nature has made them a mother, a daughter, a sister, a daughter-in-law, a mother-in-law, and many more roles, as a wife, many things. So they know how to handle human relation probably better than men. And they are better managers because they can emotionally connect to many people. And the relationship they keep. In a house, it is the woman who makes a better relationship than man, by and large. And they have enormous capacity, but they don't use it because they always worried that I'm not capable. Like if you take a big elephant and you're tying an elephant with a chain to a tree, the elephant thinks, oh, I have been chained, my leg has been chained, I have to sit here. Elephant doesn't know that if the chain, if he pulls or she pulls, the tree will fall off. Similarly, women have enormous capacity and they must use it in a proper way and they can really be more successful. Other day, I was talking to a great chef, Sanjay Kapoor, and he was telling me that women are more artistic in cooking, and that's when cooking is their forte. They can do very well in that, but larger quantity always men do. Sanjeev Kapoor was telling me that other day. Huh. The written part of exams is something I can prepare for and clear, but the interview stage is what scares me. How do I get rid of my fear of speaking? What would be your advice to help me to get confident about interviews? Be natural. Don't act. There are other side that people sitting on other side of this is from Young Doll, Digzan and Gall. If you are somebody is sitting on other side of the table, they also know that whether you are confident or not. What you know, you tell it confidently, and that is in your hand how to handle. But practice it before that with a little bit of mock interview, little bit of talking to someone, and nowadays you get good books also. Please use all those tools. Make a better interview. What do you think about our country's education system in the present situation? What can the learners today do to use this situation for their benefit? When you do not question, when you do not question that education fails, when you don't understand and you by heart, the education fails. You should always question, not for question's sake. Okay, this is Pallavi Nandan. Not for question's sake. You should always question if you don't understand. Why I'm doing this? Why I'm doing this? Okay, the present education system has its own defect, but the idea of understanding the subject is more important than by hearting it. That I feel is more important. By heart means you just remember something and you go and write, and it's more of your what you remember, you have showed it there. But most important thing is not remembering but understanding it. When you understand subject, you will be able to enjoy the subject and you will be able to answer it better. So to understand subject, you should ask why, and you have to think. These are important things what I consider in you should learn in the but present system do not have that, and we have to incorporate such things either by to some extent in the school, great extent at home, and more than that is you should do that yourself. Is there if there is one quality you have developed along your journey and one quality you would want to instill in every youngster, what would that be? Avik Prabhakar. Well, I learned a lot in my journey, and patience is the one which I really want to. I learned in my journey is very important. With computer, with modern digits, all of us have become like this. I have a question and I need a solution. I have a problem, I need a solution. Quickly, as early as possible. I've seen patients telling to the doctor, I'm coming on this weekend, I should be all right on Monday to go back to my work. It is not a cut and paste. Life is not cut and paste. Life is something different. So if you have patience, you should have patience in life. And the next generation, coming generation is lacking this quality of no patience. I want everything immediately. Whatever I wish, I should get immediately. No. Patience is the one I feel youngsters should develop and should assume that many things you can learn only with patience. And patience should be practiced, then only it is possible. Have patience, and learn that when you wait and you get, that is really, really, it has much more meaningful than other things. What inspired you to become a storyteller? What is your motivation behind how I taught my grandmother to read? Well, nothing inspired, Like I used to tell stories there, and they say, "Oh, you tell nice stories." Then I said the same fact, if you make a story and tell people, listen, I used to, as a teacher in college, I used to get 1 hour time. And in 1 hour time, what I will do, I will teach for 45 or 50 minutes. Remaining 10 minutes, I will always tell a story. And the story was always connected with the subject. So when I meet my students after many years and I ask them, tell me what you have learned from my class, they say, ma'am, subject I don't remember, but definitely you remember your stories. Because when you teach anything with stories, people remember. And that's the reason when I read children book, I don't tell you should be honest, you should be hardworking. No, I make a story and I write it so that children, when they read it, the message is hidden. They will remember. you know so that is a kind of teaching tool I use. Storytelling, how I taught my grandmother to read, is a real life story of my grandmother who was uneducated, and then at the age of 62 she started learning alphabets and started reading. And she taught me. When I was a 12 years girl, and I said, "Oh, I used to call her, how can you learn at this age?" She said, "For learning age, no bar." And that was probably the reason I wrote that book. If you want to learn, learning age, no bar. You can always learn. You can always learn. Please remember, learning age, no bar. That is the reason. Aditi, I took that. Next one. Ria Mujumdar. I've seen a lot of women working extremely hard and proving their merit in order to earn a role. Men, on the other hand, grab the opportunity first and then work on proving themselves. Proving themselves. How can women come out of this constant cycle of proving their worth? See, it is not like men will do like this. It is not like that. It is a personality. Some men are like that. I've seen some women are like that, for that matter. Some women are like that. It is your personality. If somebody does a great job, there is no moral integrity. There is no moral integrity saying that, look, she has done well. She has done better. People who do not have moral integrity, they will do such things. It is a personality, and it is not like men can do and women will not do. No, it is not true. At least in my experience, it is not true. And when something goes wrong, it is better you should be vocal and tell, look, I have done this one and this is mine. You know, so this is the way I look at it. Than men can do, women can do. No, men and women, you should not say men are more clever or more scheming. No, it is not true. Women are also like that. Men are also like that. Women are also very good. Men are also very good. Men and women are equally important in a society, because it is like a cycle. Both wheels are equally important. So we should not judge like that. You must have seen some, but by and large, it is the personalities which are like that. So this is what I today. The question answers was given to me. Now I want to tell a small thing, because I have some time left. I used to tell my students in real life how you should be, how you should behave in life. When you get a job, please remember, when you go out of the college, you remember all these days you were protected by your parents. You are protected by by your teachers, and there were a set of questions in the given the examination. There was a syllabus, and you people used to follow the syllabus and prepare for the exam, get marks, everything is fine. Now you are going into a big world. When you go into a big world, in that time you should remember that you don't have a syllabus. You don't have any protection in a say, suppose you make any mistake, you are responsible. And you don't have examination date. Every day is examination. When every day is examination, then you should prepare every day. Then what is that you have to prepare every day in the real life after your graduation? Number one, you have to prepare a good communication. I have seen in my 25 years with foundation and maybe 40 years with my work that a person with a good communication, with a clear communication, always does very well. That means what is in your mind, you should put it across very well without using strong words, wrong words, you should do. And it should be good speaking and writing. Kindly use this technique, which helps you a lot when you take up a job. It is not taught in the college. Probably it is soft skill. Nobody bothers. Everybody bothers about engineering score or your final examination score. But people do not understand a soft skill is equally important in life as much as a hard skill. Second thing you should remember, you should have good human relationship. That means wherever you work, you should have good human relationship. For that, you should have trust. To earn trust, you have to spend time on that. And you have to always work in a team. A person who plays tennis, you know, he may be he may be or she may be very good in her art of achieving. But when you work in a company, you require a team work, or you require a cricket team. All when you win, if you want to win, all 11 people should work well. Then only you can win, not alone. You may be excellent individually, but your team doesn't do well, then you can't do well. Please remember this quality of working in a team and working on your skills are very, very important. Then when success comes to you, please remember, when success comes to you, you should be more modest and more humble. Because when you don't have, you're naturally humble, because you have to get your work done from somebody. But when success comes to you, you should be more humble in life, because you should be approachable and you should be much more human, then you can understand others. Never, please remember, in life, success, beauty, money, achievements never stay with you forever. It is what you earn people when you are at the top of the ladder. It matters. And be humble. Next point is your alma mater. I always tell your alma mater. You come as a raw product to college, school or college, and you go as a finished product. That means you do so well in real life. You come as a student, but when you go out, you can earn your living. Don't forget your alma mater, your teachers, people who helped you in this rank. I was going through one magazine, and it says all successful people in real life always have gratitude. From Bill Gates, you take from anybody, they go back to their own college, build something for the college, because that is the kind of people who have gratitude quality always come up, and that's the best way to repay in life. If you want to be happy in life, then don't compare with anybody. Let it be anyone. Don't compare. Comparing always makes you unhappy. You should always compare yourself with yourself. Look, yesterday I made these many mistakes. Today I'll make less mistake. When you want to start a new adventure, don't get scared. I used to tell my students, don't worry about failures, because failures are part of success. If you don't walk and always sit in a chair, then why the road was built? When you walk, if you fall, you can always get up and walk. Similarly, when you look at boats in the seashore, please remember they are safest in the harbor, but they are not meant to be there. Similarly, life is not meant to be always safest. Let me not take a chance. Let me do take a chance. Take a chance. Don't be scared. Accept the reality of life and face it. Then run away. Don't run away from the reality. Don't imagine such things happens. Everything will be fine. No, things may be fine, may not be fine. But face the reality and find out what are the different solutions. Many times in life, no solution is also a solution. No solution is also a solution, but you should know about it. And again, in real life, there are certain things where you cannot control. Don't try to control it. In general, like you can try your level best to be very healthy. Fine. Suppose you fall sick, you try to be a good patient, but sometimes they are beyond you. Then accept it. When you accept things, then things becomes easier. Things becomes easier. When you are in a denial mode, things becomes difficult. Please remember, don't try don't accept your failures. Okay, I failed, I will not work. Not that. There are certain things which are you cannot control, and those control you can't control. Those things you should accept it, and always try to be better than yesterday. I always told my students, I'm very happy if you do well in life. I'm more happy if you turn out to be a good human being and moderate success, because a good human being will be a good citizen of the country, a good father, a good citizen, a good person to the society. To be good human being is very important. And don't cut things just because you can earn more. Don't cut the corners because you can earn more, because anyway that kind of a money will not stay with you. To be happy in life in general, you know keep your mind balanced, your life balanced, and learn every day new things. When people ask me when a person will become old, I said the day the person says, in my time things were good, the person stops learning, that is the day a person becomes old. Learning new things in life always keeps you young at heart and young in thinking, and always learn. Learning makes you young every day. No, I am giving a lot of sermons to you. I do agree. Your life is in a competitive world, and you are in a rat race. But please remember, every generation has a different rat race. The race is always there. The name is different. There was always a disease rate race. Once upon a time, there was no medicine. Today you have medicine, but you have something else. Life has different races, different times, but race is there. The names are different. You are not the only person who is under tension. Okay, because you are in a new age. Every generation had their own tension. I want to end my lecture with a small incident. I was in Egypt and I went to see the oldest pyramid, which is 7,000 years old. And something was written in hieroglyphy. It was told to me that every generation, some generations say next generation is irresponsible, they are not hardworking, etc. Every generation says next generation is like that. I don't believe. Human nature is same. All of you should know how to work hard, be happy, and be good human being. Jai Hind, Namaste. All the best. Shubhaste Panthano. This is Sudha Murthy, Chairperson, Infosys Foundation, Bangalore.